Rec League Podcast. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your haters. Available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Podchaser, Good Pods, Pocket Cast, Breaker, and Stitcher. At Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. At Rec League Pod on Twitter. Episode 69 coming soon. Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram or YouTube itself. What up, world? So I just watched Venom, There Be Carnage. It is the sequel to the Marvel Comics 2018 release, Venom. It stars Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, Reed Scott, Naomi Harris, Stephen Graham, and Woody Harrelson. It is directed by Andy Serkis. Yes, king of all mocap, Andy Serkis, and who the MCU fans would know as Ulysses Claw. Among Gollum, among Kong, among Caesar. He directed one other movie, Mowgli, the Netflix Jungle Book movie, Mowgli. And I think this is the second movie he's ever done. Some time has passed since the first movie. Eddie Brock and Venom are trying to work it out, not always seeing eye to eye. And Cletus Cassidy requests that Eddie Brock come and do his interview before he's getting the death penalty. And eventually he gains his own symbiote. And yeah, Spider-Man fans know, Venom fans know, comic book fans know that Cletus Cassidy is the villain Carnage. Like I just said in my last review, I wasn't too high on the first Venom movie. It had bright spots, but overall, in today's comic book movie climate, it was just okay. So I'm always down to watch, you know what I mean? But first, I think Venom, There Be Carnage is a goofy ass movie title. I don't like this movie title. The trailers, I thought the trailers were trash. I thought these trailers were horrible. I was always watching this movie, but the excitement was never really there. So going in, I'm going in excited because I've told people close to me, I've probably said in other videos on this channel or on the podcast, I'm completely against Sony forcing this Sony's Spider-Man universe. Cause it's two Venom movies. Morbius comes out in January, and it's just where's this going? They want Columbia Pictures want a shared universe so bad, cause they see everything Disney is doing with Marvel Studios. That's it. They want to cash in on the trend, but in Warner Brothers fashion, it seems like they don't have a direction. They're just throwing movies out there and they're going to make money. And that's all they care about is the money. They don't care about having a concise, flowing narrative from movie to movie. Because we all know Morbius is not going to reference either Venom movie. But the Spider-Man coming back into the MCU after the scare a couple years ago, last year, the year before, that Spider-Man was out of the MCU, blah, 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 blah. The terms and conditions, I think Sony is probably going to be able to reference the MCU in some way, shape, or form. And that they're piggybacking off of Disney's success. And I don't know if Spider-Man in the MCU is even worth all that, honestly. I didn't really like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock in the first movie. I like him more in this one. The back and forth with Venom I thought was funny. Sony has no respect for the hair that they throw on top of Woody Harrelson's head. Because in the mid-credit scene in the first Venom movie, he had that fucking Raggedy Ann, Curly Sue, Carrot Top thing on his head, and I don't know what the fuck he's doing in this. Or what they did to him, should I say. He's fine, and I think the fan cast was always like Jim Carrey should play Carnage. Sure, I would. Who wouldn't have loved to see Jim Carrey chewing up the scenery? But I mean, like, Woody Harrelson's one of those dudes where, like, if he's in a movie, I'm probably checking it out. And he's like in the first movie. He's, you know, if you haven't seen the first Venom 3 years ago, spoilers. He's got a relationship with Ruben Fleischer from Zombieland. He's got a relationship in this with Andy Serkis from War of the Planet of the Apes. So it's like, and it's like I don't know, some of the humor and some of the choices I feel like are very Andy Serkis. The trailers felt like very Andy Serkis as far as like the quirkiness and that personality that I think he gives off. But it's like overall, I thought the dialogue was ass. I didn't like the dialogue in this movie at all. Just the back and forth. Like I think I think Tom Hardy is voicing Venom. So it's like the back and forth with Venom, Tom Hardy, and himself. However you want to look at it. It was funny. But the rest of the dialogue, I didn't like at all. Naomi Harris is normally dope. She was good in this. I didn't overly love her character. I thought the design, the look of Carnage was the best thing about the movie. I think the Venom suit looks better in this, but it's always gonna look weird to me without the big white spider logo on it. But there's no Spider-Man in these movies, so how, like, he was never gonna get the symbiote from Peter Parker. It's like an hour and a half long, and I think the shorter runtime hurts it. There's no development. It's just like, okay, this happened. It was crazy. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, that leads to this next thing. Like, it's incident after incident after incident, and the third act feels like it was like a good 20 minutes long. In a 90-minute movie, the third act shouldn't take up like a whole quarter of the movie. There were hints to other characters. There were seeds planted for Venom 3. The mid-credit scene being one of those. It's a cool scene. If you spoil it in my comment section, I will block you. The mid-credit scene to Venom Let There Be Carnage is cool, but I expected more. I wasn't like blown away. I heard it was this mind-blowingly, oh my goodness, comic book movies will never be the same, and that may be the case. We have to wait and see. But for what I thought was gonna happen, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't even have anything in my head like this is what has to happen for me to like it. But for what happened, it was just kind of like, that was it. Venom 3 could be crazy. It could be balls to the wall bananas based off of this mid-credit scene. But for what they did, I was like, okay, fine. So, again, like, I had issues with the dialogue, start to finish. And I thought the shorter runtime hurt the overall movie. But on a little bit of the positive side, I thought this was a better movie than the first one. So there's that. So with all that being said, I will say that in my opinion, Venom Let There Be Carnage was solid. Have you seen Venom 2, Venom Let There Be Carnage? They could have just called it Venom versus Carnage, Brock versus Cassidy. Like, at this point, like, who cares? I was telling my brother, I want anti-Venom. Like, they're not going that way, but I anti-Venom. I want him in one of these movies. So have you seen Venom Let There Be Carnage, man? What you think about it? Positive, negative, somewhere in between? Let me know. My recent reviews are for the Addams Family 2, Cry Macho, Cop Shop. Right around the corner, I got a Mini Saints in Newark review. And then next weekend, I want to watch No Time to Die. The weekend after, I want to watch Halloween Kills. And I want to watch The Last Duel. Rec League Podcast episode 69 is right around the corner. In the next day or two, it'll be uploaded. Movie Collector Q&A, man. Like, this is something that I did a couple years ago and I wanted to revisit it. I got more people, and I think it's better conversation. It's very fun. So check that out, man. Like, subscribe, comment. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me? Watch these credits. Peace.